Welcome to Pat's Cast, the unofficial Regina Pats podcast. I'm Matt.
I'm Chris.
And this is our episode for April the 3rd, 2021.
He scores! Denemy lights the lamp and the streak is alive.
And Bedard is away, joined by Leighton Feist, the rookie defenseman. He's got one tonight. Charging in, and he scores!
Oh, Bedard with a steal inside the Moose Jaw line. Connor Bedard's in, and he scores! There it is! Connor Bedard doesn't take long, does he? And the Pats lead.
Well, Chris, coming into this week, we were expecting some tough games. We had a couple of those, but a few little bright spots over the week. Overall, how did you feel about the week?
I was happy with the week. Like I said, I wanted one win, hoping for two. We got two, and I thought there was three decently played games.
I think so, yes. 3 out of 4 were decent. One real stinker. Let's start at the top here. We had Swift Current. And now Swift Current, probably one of the weaker teams in the hub, the East Hub here, but not a pushover at all. They've beat some good teams here. They've run Saskatoon to the limit one time. They beat PA, but we certainly they did not look good in this game. The Pats really took it to them with a 9-4 win. Nice to see, just maybe a bit of a confidence booster for the team. And again, Swift Current is not a pushover in any sense, but just and kind of our first offensive explosion, I would say, of the year. What we put up 40 shots. It was kind of fun to watch. It wasn't the most. I mean, it was a little sloppy. Maybe it wasn't a great game in that sense of hockey sense, but as a Pats fan, it was nice to watch.
Yeah, it's like one of those games that the coaches, kind of cringe at, the little bit of river hockey, back and forth, lack of defense. But like you said, it was good for the offense, maybe to get rolling, get some other guys scoring again, get Armstrong scoring and stuff like that. So, get the guys some more confidence, obviously, which was good.
Yeah, absolutely. Zach Smith again getting on the score sheet. Connor Bedard keeping up with his scoring point streak. So trying to get Sloan Stanek getting the monkey off his back. It was nice. Yeah,
and again, back to Bedard, it's hard not to talk about him, but the couple assists he had, the 2-on-1 to Smith, like he really outweighted that D-man and put it on Smith's tape, and he made no mistake. And then his breakaway again, it's 3 breakaways, clear-cut breakaways in a row. He's gone that kind of low glove, and he just snipes it, boom, it's in the back of the net.
It really is phenomenal just watching him. I want to see him live here as soon as I can. I don't know. It sounds like it's going to be next season now. But, I mean, again, if anyone was listening to our preseason episode, I really tried not to get the fanboy kind of mantra going here, but the hype is real. He is that good. He was honored with Rookie of the Month for the WHL. I mean, arguably, could he have been Player of the Month? He could have been.
I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he's certainly in that conversation. And again, the kid's 15 years old, and you just keep hearing it from media and people alike. It's just he shouldn't be able to do what he does. And again, it's not like a men among boys. Like if you're not watching this, and it just seems to be his where he is on the ice and his playmaking or his sight and his. I don't know. It's really something to see. And I'd really like to see it in person.
Just
hockey IQ.
Yeah, it's just his hockey IQ. Yeah, like he's in the right spot. He's not timid with the puck. He's confident with it. His head's up all the time. Like you can see him when he's skating. Like he's the guy with his head up wide, looking around, looking to make the play. Like he's made some unbelievable passes. He's not lacking any confidence out there.
No, his playmaking and passing is it's phenomenal too. So
yeah, everybody was raving about his shot, but then when you actually see him play, it's the complete game, right? Like you said, his playmaking ability is second to none.
And the zip he puts on the passes too. Right? There's been times I've seen people mishandle it, like it hits their stick, and then they bobble it a bit. I think he's got a lot of pepper on the pass too.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I remember playing some summer hockey with a Moose Jaw Warrior, Riley Holzaffel. Well, he hit me backdoor on a pass. It was an easy tap, and well, it went under my stick. I wasn't expecting it to be that hard, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, I wasn't used to that.
Right on. So nice. I guess something we talked about last week was talking about Roddy Ross, and just he's a bit of a struggle. He identified too, actually, that hasn't really been playing up to what his standards are. So it's interesting to see him get all 4 of the starts this week. I don't know if some of our other goaltenders are a little bit under the weather, or if they're banged up a bit. We would have expected to see at least a keeper in there or someone during this stretch, but Ross got all 4, and overall, he seems to be a little bit more in the game. Been more impressed with his play this week, in spite of some of these lopsided scores. But I mean, we'll talk about Brandon not being all his fault, in my opinion. And it was good to see him bounce back a little bit this week.
Yeah, we were definitely on the keeper train, and I mean that's why we're not the coaches, not getting paid the big bucks. They go with Ross, and he played all right against Swift Current, and I thought he played real well against Moose Jaw.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a good clip here from Zach Smith actually after that Swift Current game. I appreciated the question that you asked him, seeing how it seems like the media asked a lot of questions about Bedard, and rightfully so, yes. But, I think there's other players on this team that are worth talking to. And,
I like him on that line, too.
Absolutely. He has definitely earned his spot there. And, we'll just roll into this question that you asked him.
Rotated wingers through Connor and Carson's line. What do you think you've brought to that line?
I think I see the ice really well. I think I'm good defensively for position wise, so I think I help that way. And just making plays, I guess. Things have just been working for us.
Yeah, and how easy is it to play with those two?
It's awesome. I love every minute of it. They're both fun guys too, so we have lots of laughs throughout games and stuff like that. So it's pretty fun.
They've rotated.
So yeah. I mean, he's talking about how much fun it is to play with that line, and how could it not be? And he's earned his spot there. Seems to be the one that fits in with them, whatever reason it is. He just seems to be in the right spot to receive those passes or get the rebounds or whatever it is.
And like you said, he's good. He's pretty responsible defensively, and I do think he is. I think maybe he plays the center position, despite Bedard being the centerman.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I don't know why. Like I noticed it tonight. He was on PP2 tonight. I don't know if it was in the Brandon game as well. I haven't really paid that close attention, but I'd rather see him on PP1 when he's got a little bit of chemistry with Bedard. Not that
sure.
The power play is struggling per se, but you see him, he's on the point on the second power play. Like they trust him back there, and I think he's got some speed he can bring to that line, and he's got skill obviously, and I think he plays a pretty responsible defensive game.
So have the 3 forwards have that line out with the defenseman.
Yeah. For I don't know. I mean, they have Chorney and Nyhoff out there on PP1, but I mean, it's been working all right. I'm not going to say it isn't.
Great. So then on to Moose Jaw. I would say this is probably the best hockey game we've seen
all year, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was awesome. What else is kind of the sub story here underlying is the Braden Yeager versus Connor Bedard story that's going to develop over the next few years. I think this is going to be a juicy matchup that we are going to enjoy. The Highway 1 rivalry heating up again over the next few years is going to be a fun one. This game was fun. At one point, there were the only 2 goal scorers. Those 2, Connor Bedard and Braden Yeager. Jaeger went, what, number 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Did he even apply for exceptional status?
Yes, I believe so.
He did.
It was him and number 2 to Prince George, Riley Height.
Yeah.
So Height and Jaeger played together there
Right.
in Saskatoon last season.
Yeah. So we're going to see over the years, the next couple of years, some nice rivalries between this team, and nice game. This past one, it was nice. The Pats came out on top. Of course, having to come back actually after going down 2-1, kind of in the middle of the third there. Leighton Feist actually had a really nice game too. He had originally the goal on the second, and then it was changed over to Carter Massier, and then the game-winning goal with just a few seconds left in overtime. Moose Jaw's goaltender Brett Meerwald played fantastic, had a great game. The game-winning goal was, out of all the game, that was kind of a softie to give up. It looked like, I don't know if he was a little bit screened on it or...
I think it maybe went off the defenseman's stick. Don
Yeah.
Cherry always says, get your stick out of the way. And the way he kind of reacted, I think it went off the defenseman's stick. And yeah, it was a long shot. Like, it wasn't like it was something he should have stopped because he was hot all night.
Yeah, and I don't think Leighton has a cannon to really blow it by him or anything like that.
No.
So, yeah, overall, just a really well-played game on both sides. Fairly clean game too. Looked like we had 4 penalties, 4 for each team. Good game. Roddy Ross played really well as well, so that was good. Another solid game from him. Anything else you want to say about that?
Not really. Like I said, it was the best game, complete game. It was entertaining. Lots of scoring chances at both ends.
Mm-hmm.
Both goalies played well. And it was good all around.
Right on. Let's hear what Strush has to say about it.
Yeah, we are. This for me, I felt was our best game of the year, start to finish. 60 plus, we needed obviously. In a game where I felt both teams played well, there was good goaltending, lots of scoring opportunities in both ends, great defensive plays in both ends. There was so much hockey. Good hockey in this game, and it was obviously somebody has to win, and we're really happy it was us because I said to the guys it was a really, really hard battle, and with the young lineup like we had tonight, lots of injuries, lots of guys get lots of minutes and opportunities. It's nice to be rewarded for doing things right. Yeah, big time. After having 5 days off, lots of hard work and practice. We liked his last game, and then tonight he did a great job for us, and that's energy too. Our bench sees it; they see him working hard, and they battled hard for him, just like he did for the players.
So he's referring to the injuries, and that's something we haven't necessarily got to yet. Is the amount of injuries that this team is facing, especially on the blue line. I know tonight they rolled with 5 Ds, and I think. With the Moose Jaw game, we had 3 or 4 rookies playing.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be rolling with 4 rookies, definitely, because you got 3 veterans that are hurt: Johnson, Cadeau, and Mitchell.
Yeah.
Johnson, I think he blocked a shot. He took it maybe in like the midsection, and he came back for the Brandon game, I believe, and then he was out again tonight for the Winnipeg game. But it's like we say, this is a developmental season, and these guys are getting the ice time. They're getting lots of ice. I think Berg has really been solid. Like, he's not flashy or anything, but he's, big body, long reach. I thought he's really played well in the minutes he's been called upon. He's almost the number 3 guy behind Walker and Evans. And, like Feist and Taylor and those guys are coming along.
Yeah. So Strush actually has a comment here on Feist and our young defense.
Offensively, we know he's got that. That's an asset of his. We've talked a lot about his defensive play, and I think that tonight he played really good defensively, which gives him opportunities. we talk about doing little the details of the game away from the puck the right way that give you opportunities. And he's slowly getting better without the puck. That puts the puck in his hands a lot more. And that's one thing when you come from midget AAA or 15-year-old leagues, that when you come into the Western Hockey League, things don't come easy. You have to work for it. And I think that he's done a good job working for it. And in the end, you talk about the rewards of doing things right, being in the right place is at the right time. When you make all of those little things your habits, like he's doing, it's good things happen like that. Yeah, and you know what? I think that with all of our young guys, they're making mistakes. There's no question. But I think not just with Feister. I think that with all of our guys, we had Kyle Walker in the penalty box a lot tonight, which means that those four young guys have to be on the ice killing penalties, and I think that they did a great job. And Brad does a good job helping them out there with the penalty kill, and they were given lots of responsibility, and that it helps because they're part of a big win, having bigger.
So Dave was alluding to the mistakes the young defensemen are making now leading into this Brandon game. This was a game that I felt was riddled with errors, and not just the young guys. It was a sloppy game. They were leaving their goaltender out to dry, just some bad gift-wrapped goals. And Brandon took full advantage of those, and this game was quickly out of hand. I think 4-0 after one. And I mean, you can be down, and sometimes if you're down early, you can fight your way back. But boy, this game it did not have that flavor to it that I even thought that was going to happen.
No, and I thought they played decent in the first half of the period. It was just that end of the period that just kind of got away from it. It was like, 3 goals in 5 minutes?
Yeah, it unraveled quickly. Like, it was just...
Yeah. And when it happens like that, I think it's tough to regain any kind of momentum or anything. And yeah, I kind of just, after that, it was almost, they were just skating it out. You know what I mean? Just, all right, let's just finish this game off and
really
get out of here.
Even the goal we got, I mean, Colby Watton gets his first goal as a Pat, but it was like, he was just standing there and it hit him and got it. It trickled in, and it was just...
It was a nice play to Dubinsky to get the trailer and get a shot on net and get a chance. I mean, it's not like they didn't give up per se. I don't want to come across as saying they gave up, but getting down that early just takes the wind right out of your sails, and
especially the type of goals too. Like, they were just it
was ugly. Scrambly, sloppy, and And I thought, I seen Matt Rowe tweet out like, well, this is the end to the Bedard point streak here, and lo and behold, he pulls it out. He gets the one done. Nice little pass to Denemy, and he finishes off. And I mean, you got to give Denemy some credit. He's been hot. Like, Bedard's looking for him, and he's finishing.
Yeah, and that's a really good point. Is Connor Bedard has continued his point streak and gathered quite a few points through assists, and I don't know what the count is. How many are to Denemy? Like, quite a few, and so Denemy has to do a big part of that too, and finish that off. And so far so good. He's been doing that and holding up his end of the bargain to help.
And
Connor.
Bedard was on the press conference after that game. And he gave a shout out to Denemy. He's like, I'm getting these assists while all these guys, they got to be putting it in the net like Denemy and Smith and stuff like that. Yeah. So he's given his line mates props and so.
Absolutely. So it was nice just to kind of get out of that one. That was a tough game.
Yeah, and I mean, and with the news coming out, I don't know if we want to get into that right now, but
yeah, sure.
With Bedard being named to under 18s, it kind of came out earlier in the week, and I had it written down. Well, like, is he going to go? And I guess, okay, he is going, and he kind of, like, everybody was asking him about it, and he was subdued. He's like, I was a little more happy before, when I first announced it, and you could tell he was down. But
Sure. Well, let's. Speaking of which, let's listen to that.
A little. I mean, I didn't even really know about the tournament until like 2-3 days before I kind of got told I was going to be on it. So it definitely was a surprise, and I'm super grateful that they're going to give me that opportunity, and I'm obviously going to try to make the most of it, and like I said, super grateful I got that opportunity.
So he's happy. Now I'm going to be totally selfish as a Pats fan right now. I'm not. I'm kind of sad to see him leave. When's his last day with the Pats now?
The last game will be next Friday, the 9th, against whoever that is.
Right. So, it's okay. I think it's fair to be like, it was kind of only the bright spot of the season thus far. Really was him, and for him to go now, and so it's kind of sucks for us not to be able to see him play more. We'll get to see him play in a different setting, but not play for us. That being said, of course, for his development, it's freaking fantastic. And for him to be a 15-year-old playing with 17-year-olds, and we're looking at some of those other players out there. You have Shane Wright, Cole Sillinger, who else? Dylan Gunther, Carson Lambos from the WHL. Like, it's some damn good players out there, and hopefully the teams that are coming will be great too. So awesome opportunity for him. And really, in the end, what's this season going to offer him? Surely play a few more games here.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for the Pat side of things, where they're trying to go with the team, build this winning culture, build this team for next year. It's unfortunate for them, but you can't say no to him going, obviously.
Totally.
And yeah, like you said, it's pretty rare company. There's only a couple guys. I don't know if you've heard of them, like the John Tavares and Connor McDavid. Like, I don't know. I think they turned out okay. So
you've heard of them before,
I've heard of them a bit. But so it's pretty good. And I mean, this tournament isn't like a prime key tournament for Canada, because there's teams in playoffs all the time right about now. So they don't send their best team, and they haven't had a ton of success at this tournament. But maybe this year they will, because there's lots of high end guys going this time, and with the Q being in the middle of their season and planned proper playoffs, they didn't send anybody. So it's an OHL, WHL team only.
Yeah, and it kicks off late April, the 26th. I was trying to find if there's some coverage.
I seen TSN on their press release said they'll be covering select games, whether that's on TV, streaming, I don't know.
Okay.
And what games, it didn't say, or I didn't look into it either, if they have a schedule out yet or not. But
yeah,
well, there'll be some coverage.
I think that'd be kind of fun to watch that. It's a pretty good team, and quite a few names that we recognize. So, overall, of course, happy for Connor, what he's going to get out of it, and to get in that Team Canada. I don't know what you want to call it, family, because I have heard the whole thing is quite political, and you kind of have to be in their group. So clearly he is, and probably mean future opportunities for him too. So. And
you look at guys like McDavid and Tavares and Crosby. For whatever reason, Crosby didn't make this tournament as 15, but those guys, they went on to under 20s at 16 and 17 as well. So,
and Strush alludes that, he says that we're gonna have to get used to this. He's gonna be gone definitely for a month at a time, probably every year from now on. So, yeah.
And, obviously he was on the radar probably for them, but I think with this start that he's had with the WHL, it just elevated his maybe stock. And with the Q maybe not sending players, who knows, he maybe still would have made it. But it is kind of a combination of both, and yeah.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, I guess just to sum up this game, I was disappointed coming off 2 wins. I was starting to feel maybe the team's finding a bit of a groove, and then that one just really stung.
Right?
Yeah.
You get a couple games, okay, well, we got some confidence going into Brandon. Maybe we can, hang with them.
Yeah.
And sure, we may not win the game, but at least have a good showing.
Yeah.
And it was just a stinker, right?
It was. And then, so tonight's game, I wasn't holding my breath for this one. I didn't have too high of hopes. Looking at the lineup too, running 5 defensemen. Again, the injuries. Coming off a tough game against now a really good Winnipeg team. Wasn't really too excited for this one, to be honest. But I think, overall the game wasn't too bad, really. They were down 1-0 after 1. They had an opportunity here in the third. They get a quick goal from Nyhoff, and then the penalties piled on there and really kind of killed all that momentum. The unfortunate double minor to Riker Evans on
it's Krebs.
Krebs. I was looking for his name.
Yeah.
On Krebs.
But
and
the only caveat to that is it took him out of the game for a little bit too.
Yeah, he had to go get some stitches, it looked like. Kind of actually, you got Krebs he kind of undressed Connor Bedard there on the inside, it looked like.
Oh yeah.
Turning around. Yeah. And they originally gave the penalty to Connor Bedard because he had to turn around and kind of get his stick into Krebs because he walked by him. So, yeah.
I know Bedard did pick his pocket. I don't know if it was later in the game when he was back out. He did pick his pocket in the neutral zone and go the other way with it. So he got him back.
Yeah. I mean, and Peyton Krebs is no slouch. That's
no.
First round draft pick.
Definitely. I think he's got to be the top player, if not in the conversation, top player in the East right now.
Yeah. So, too bad. Again, it was they were hanging with them, kind of a ugly goal here, just not the best. And then,
yeah, that first one was ugly. I thought Rush should have had that one, but
yeah, and then some penalty trouble, and that was kind of the game, I think.
Yeah, like you said, it took the momentum away. That was because it was 3-1, and then there was 5-on-3 for I don't know how many minutes of 5-on-3. They scored 1, then it was 5-on-3 again, and they killed off the rest of it.
Yeah, I suppose.
And they didn't quit. They pushed back later.
Yeah,
they got their chances.
Denemy got his token goal from Connor Bedard again, and
yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad. Too bad way to finish the week off like this. Just the way it started, I felt like maybe we'll get. But I mean, overall, 2-2 for the week, not bad. Winnipeg we knew it was gonna be a tough game. Maybe that Brandon game was kind of could have shown up a little bit better, but here we are. Strush had some comments about this and the young guys, and we'll get into that right now.
There isn't going to be the time that you want for our young guys to get over the hump. We're going to get to that 24 game mark, and we would expect at that point we take a big step in the last 3-4 games. Until then, it's baby steps, and tonight was just another step in the right direction. We liked the way we competed and battled. The group works hard. It's positive on the bench in the dressing room. Our leaders are great. The atmosphere is still a good place to be, but the hockey has to be. We have to have a near perfect game to get wins.
So is the first maybe a little bit of Strush saying, "Hey, things are still good with the team, right? We're still a good team, and the morale is good, but we got to start picking it up." And I actually really like the words from Walker here that we're going to play. This is kind of maybe the first insight we've had from a player as to what things are like right now, and what insight into what they're thinking and what's going on in their mind. So this is really worth a listen here. And you said Walker, you interviewed him a few times last year, and he
Wasn't super outgoing, but
Yeah.
maybe that's just getting a good interview out of him. But he's got a really something to say here, and it's really takes you in.
absolutely. So here's Walker after the loss to Winnipeg.
It's never the lack of effort or anything from our team. I think that we always work hard. It's just our mental errors that constantly screw us over, and we've talked about it multiple times, and we have addressed it as a team without the coaches. We've had multiple meetings, and it's just we just need to keep grinding away and get better at being disciplined in those situations. Yeah, of course. I mean, fans are, especially Regina's fans, are fantastic, and they make a big difference in the game. But at the end of the day, no team has fans here, so we can't take home ice advantage as anything, and we need to just be able to beat teams at the end of the day. And we can, and we have the skill and the work ethic to do it every single game, especially with our division that we have this year. And yeah, we just need to keep going. Don't give up anything yet, because there's still 13, 12 games left, so there's still lots of time.
So he's starting to allude to just the mental errors. The team, he feels, has the skill, and I think most of us agree, because we've seen them play fairly well, that they could keep up with any team, any game. But it's the mental errors, and it sounds like even they've had these player-only meetings. You hear about that once in a while in other leagues and things like that, where they start, I don't know, calling each other out, or not maybe specifically, but it's just the players getting together and deciding what they need to do. I don't know. How do you get them out of this, and where do they go from here?
Yeah, like it's just that consistency, right? They can play good for stretches, and then then they make a mistake, and it seems like they make a few mistakes and it's in the back of their net, because maybe they have the skill to hang with these teams, but they don't have equal skill to, like, okay, well, we can make a mistake, and it's not going to cost us this time.
You're right. It seems to cost us every damn time we make a mistake. And that Brandon game is like someone falls over and they cough it up back of their net. It's like, oh my God, like we just can't, we can't absorb the mistakes, I guess.
And Strush alluded to that. You got to play, they've got to play a almost perfect game, right?
Yeah.
And to compete and beat these top end teams, right? Like they can beat the bottom end teams, the comparable teams, the Swift Currents and Moose Jaws, the PAs right now, but they're struggling with the Saskatoon, Winnipegs, and Brandons, the teams that are better than them.
Yeah.
They just need the complete game, and they haven't got it yet. And like you said too, this is early in the season, quote unquote, even though it's halfway through the season. Right now, this would be the beginning of the season in a normal season, right? You'd have your training camp, you'd have your preseason, and then you'd just be the first couple of weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks into the regular season. And maybe that's what maybe Ross needed too, like, not having a proper training camp. And, sometimes it's the timing. He just hasn't got the timing down, just, whatever, they said they really worked him hard there. They gave him some time off, and now he seems, stepped up his game a bit. So, it's such a weird season, and it's just, it is what it is, right? And hopefully, this prepares them for next season, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I hope so. Well, yeah, I mean, going into next week, you got Moose Jaw, Swift Current, and Brandon again. So it's like the same week over again. A little bit of Groundhog Day. And we'll see. It's almost like whichever team shows up, because we know they can play well. And if they can get their heads figured out and stop making those little mistakes, we could see better results this week. We beat two of these teams, but it's hard to beat a team 2 times in a row back to back. So we'll see how this week goes.
Yeah, definitely. And so that Brandon game, that'll be the last game for Bedard then.
Yeah.
On Friday.
On Friday.
So
it will be.
Make sure you're watching.
And speaking of watching, got to give a shout out to, so it's IKS Media doing the East Hub games, and I mean, so far I've been super impressed. The production quality, I think, is top notch. The replays are good, they're quick. They're showing the right things, the camera angles that switch. I don't know, I've been really happy with it from the East Hub. I haven't watched many of the games out of the other hubs, but so far so good for us. Pretty happy.
Yeah, yeah, I've been happy with it. I did watch the most of the Brandon game. I did watch. I didn't watch all of it, but I did watch Access broadcast, and it was good as well. But yeah, like I said, the ITS production has been good. There hasn't been much for issues. There was a little bit of a sound issue in the one game, but they cleared it up pretty quick, and it was good to go the rest of the night.
Right on. Just some news from around the league. So Kelowna shut down for 14 days. Things don't sound too great there. I don't know how you make up 14 days worth of games in this tight of a schedule.
Yeah.
Have they even said anything? Or they?
I haven't seen much. I mean, they rescheduled a couple of games, maybe at the opponents of Kelowna, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything for Kelowna themselves. But yeah, 2 weeks. That's real tough. You look at, I don't know, their schedule is probably similar to the East Hub here. We're playing every couple days. So, you're out for 2 weeks, so you're going to miss 5 to 7 games.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, at least. Yeah, so that's too bad. Might really kind of impact things going forward with any sort of potential playoffs between the divisions. I don't know if that's ever actually going to happen, or even within the East. Who knows? But so far, so good in the East. No positives yet, so that is great. Hopefully they keep up that and keep being safe.
I don't know if you want to go to the Bedard kind of interview about his start. I mean, I seen Evan Dom, the media contact for the Pats. He's like, yeah, we're getting, requests from all across the country. So it's interesting, and obviously they're managing his time, and he was post game on that Brandon game after the big news, but he's such a well-spoken individual already. Maybe having that spotlight on him, it makes you grow up faster, kind of thing. But I couldn't imagine handling this at 15 where I was. You know what I mean?
Sure. Well, let's finish the week off listening to him, and
yeah, because I was really looking. I was waiting for him to come on and talk about his start, because I know preseason he's like, I have no expectations, or I have no goals per se, because I've never played in the league. I'm not setting any statistical goals. Everybody was asking about that, and he's like, I just want to get in and start playing, and he kind of answered my question that I had after that game.
Right on. So here is Bedard speaking to his success so far.
Yeah, I mean, I came in and got a lot of confidence from all my teammates and coaching staff in that week of training. They kind of, allowed me to play my game and give me that green light, knowing that, I'm going to make mistakes, and I have made mistakes. There's been goals that have been my fault, and turnovers I've had that have been bad, but I think that's part of learning, and being a new player in this league is learning is one of the biggest things. So I think getting that green light, and then I think I've been obviously I think I've been playing pretty well, but and a lot of teammates go into that. I think I have 4 more assists and goals, so that's 12 guys that got to put the puck in the net. So a lot of credit goes to them too. Yeah, I mean, I came in and got a lot of confidence from all my teammates and coaching staff in that week of training. They kind of, allowed me to play my game and give me that green light, knowing that, I'm going to make mistakes, and I have made mistakes. There's been goals that have been my fault, and turnovers I've had that have been bad, but I think that's part of learning, and, being a new player in this league is learning is one of the biggest things. So I think getting that green light, and then I think I've been obviously I think I've been playing pretty well, but
Yeah, so it's nice to hear him. He just seems humble, right? He's got to know that he's not naive to it, his success and where his status is, and probably the expectations on him. But he just has that. He has a bit of humbleness to him, which is refreshing, I think.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys. Oh, I'm going to come into this league and I'm just going to rip it up. Like you hear from some people, and not just WHL or hockey. You hear these guys in other sports like, I'm just going to come in and run this league. You know, he's like, I have no expectation. I'm going to come in and see what I can do, right? And he's played up, so he not that he knew what he was getting into, but you know, I think he knows he has the skill to compete in this league as 15, but maybe it does surprise him a bit that as much success as he has had. And you look at his stats, like tonight was his first assist that wasn't a primary assist. Like all his points were either goals or first assists. And you see it. Like you see him setting up guys and they're putting it in the net. Like I knew it was high, and then when I seen the stat come out that he hasn't had a second assist until tonight, that didn't surprise me. It surprised me, but it didn't surprise me.
Right, so let's enjoy the ride for the last few games here. 3 games this week. We'll get to see him, and then he's off to Texas to isolate and then play in the U18s. Hopefully get to watch him there. But, the Pats are halfway through their season, sitting at, 4 wins? Yeah, so let's get some more this week, and we'll talk about it then. All right, good night.
All right. Good night, guys.
Bye.